Hey, folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 22nd of October, 2014. How are you today? I say that every day. I ask that every day because I am concerned because, well, I'm not concerned to the point of, oh my God, I hope people are... No, I'm not that, it's not that. It's just that I am concerned, and that's why I ask, because, you could email me and say, my day sucks, and tell me all about it. Or you can, send me a tweet over at Real WS Pierce on Twitter. That's at Real WS Pierce. Check that out. Or you can go to Facebook, The Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook. Check things out there as well. Or the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. And go from there. But I ask because it's a nice thing to do. If I were to meet you on the street and shake your hand, I would say, hey, how you doing? Same thing. Consider this a virtual handshake. I have a question for you. As soon as I get something here. Holy crap, the coffee's cold. I have a question for you. When you encounter something so gut-wrenching in your life, how do you react to it? And it could be, all the political games and chess games going on, today in our world with different countries trying to vie for being a winner. That's all set up, all rigged anyway. Or even hearing about someone down the street at a convenience store who got robbed, or maybe a neighbor who fell ill. Gut-wrenching stuff, right? How do you feel? How do you react? What is your reaction? People react in various ways. People stand on certain things, certain principles, and they say, you know what? Yes, I know this happens. And they go from there. Some people react very emotionally. But how do you react to gut-wrenching news? Okay. Now, the reason why I ask that question is because after the break, I'm going to give you some news. There's been a shooting in Ottawa, Canada, at the Parliament building. Don't worry, Stephen Harper is still alive. When the news comes in, I'll give you more. And, of course, this afternoon on the Views Express Live, I'll give you even more that I found out. But there's been multiple shootings in Ottawa. Now, the conspiracy theorists would run around going, oh, my God, it's this. Really? How about getting the actual, information from that area, piece it together, and find out exactly what's going on? Okay, I have family, distant relatives, I would guess, still in Canada. Okay, but probably nowhere near Quebec, Ottawa. Probably, I don't know. But when you hear the news that somebody's been shot, that there's been a shooting in your area, maybe in your city hall or whatever it is, or the governor's, the Capitol building or whatever, what is your reaction? Your reaction is, oh my God. And your first, visceral reaction is to go out and find these people and go take care of the problem, right? How about no? How about finding out what it is first? How about finding out what the authorities are saying and calm down just a bit because it didn't happen to you? Okay, that's one aspect of it. But then again, on the other side, let's make sure as activists and be proactive in making sure that this doesn't happen anymore. That's how you should react. I'm just saying that's from my perspective. But I'll be back right after this. Stick around. The WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. With her unique, fast-paced, witty sarcasm, Angel Clark brings you the news of the day with a creative twist. Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on radiofreedom.us. You can also listen to her live on the Liberty Radio Network at lrn.fm.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
The Free America Radio Network. Are you a filmmaker and want to make your epic feature film with no money, some money, and or all the money in the world? Listen to Christopher J. Taylor as he discusses everything you need to know about filmmaking and more on Film 101 on HTLA973.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 22nd of October, 2014. How are you? Lots of things going on. How do we react to certain things? It's a good question, isn't it? Well, let me go over to the Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook, and let's see what's over there, shall we? Oh, I got a thing to read you from yahoo.com, by the way. Now, there's not much over there on the Wayne S. Pierce. Oh, here it is. I want to see, when did this go up? 20 hours ago. From freebeacon.com. Sorry, I got a little confused there. Adam Credo over at freebeacon.com posted this yesterday. Afghan poppy cultivation at all-time high. I may have read this before, but this is important because our military is protecting the poppy fields. And if you put two and two together, you'll notice that it's under a different name, of course, but Fast and Furious has created the market for the drugs being sent into the United States. Is that speculation? No, that's on record. Geraldo Rivera, many years ago, or a few years back, questioned the general that was standing in front of the poppy fields, and he said, yeah, we're here to protect them. Not in those words, but you got to read between the lines. And other people have come out since then and said, yeah, we're over there helping cultivate it. We're protecting them. Import of, the poppy seeds or the plant itself that is manufactured to make the drugs, heroin, all that, was around 10%, 9 or 10% before Barack Obama became president. Afterwards, it's shot up to well over 60% now. The import into Mexico, into America, it's gone up considerably. Okay. Afghan poppy cultivation at an all-time high. U.S. has spent $7.6 billion in counter-narco ops. Yeah. Cultivation of the illegal poppy plant in Afghanistan has reached an all-time high following a $7.6 billion counter-narcotics campaign paid for by the United States. You and I, folks, according to the government oversight investigators. Despite the spending to combat the growth of the poppy plant, which is used to make drugs such as opium and heroin, cultivation has reached an all-time high, especially in places once declared poppy-free, according to a new report by the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. Quote, after a decade of reconstruction and over $7 billion in counter-narcotics efforts, poppy cultivation levels are at an all-time high. Unquote, Cigar concluded in its report released Wednesday. Okay. This was put up and posted yesterday, the 21st. Okay. Today is Wednesday, folks, the 22nd. So how did they get that report? This is on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. You just got to scroll on down. You'll see it. The one thing that I've realized in my life is don't believe the mainstream media. Don't believe them. I mean, alternative independent media is the way to go, and those are the people you need to really, and even some of them you shouldn't listen to, but at least vet them out. Look at the information. Research it, examine it, see if see if somebody's pulling your chain, you know what I'm saying? From Yahoo News, news.yahoo.com, survey, harassment, a common part of online life. Barbara Ortete, Barbara, over at AP has written this, and Yahoo picked it up. A new study confirms that many internet users know all too well. A new study, I could have told you this like 5-10 years ago. A new study confirms what many internet users know all too well. Harassment is a common part of online life. The first of its kind report by the Pew Research Center found that nearly 3/4 of the American adults who use the internet have witnessed online harassment. 40% have experienced it themselves. The types of harassment Pew asked about range from name-calling to physical threats, sexual harassment, and stalking. Half of those who were harassed said they didn't know the person who had most recently attacked them. Young adults, people 18 to 29, were the most likely age group to see and undergo online harassment. Women ages 18 to 24 were disproportionately the victims of stalking and sexual harassment, according to the survey. And people who have more information available about themselves online, work in the tech industry, or promote themselves on the internet were also more likely to be harassed. Starting this summer, people involved in an online campaign termed Gamergate have been harassing several prominent women in the video game industry and their supporters for criticizing the lack of diversity in games and how women are portrayed. One of the targets is Brianna Wu, a software engineer and founder of game developer Giant Space Cat. Wu, who is in her mid-30s, said she was frequently been harassed online, but it's gotten worse this year. Earlier this month, people threatened her and her husband with rape, death, and castration on Twitter and posted her address online, she said, and they have been trying to impersonate her on the internet to smear her reputation. She got so frightened that she left her home in Boston. Wu went to the police, but most people harassed online don't. According to Pew, just 5% of those who were harassed reported the incident to law enforcement, while nearly half confronted the person online. 40% said they unfriended or blocked the person. But victims of harassment often don't know where it's coming from. 38% of the people who were harassed online said a stranger was behind threats, and another 26% didn't know who the person was. Among other key findings from Pew, 2/3 of those who were harassed said the most recent incident took place on a social networking site or app, while 22% saw it happen in the comment section of a website. 16%, meanwhile, said it happened in online gaming. Men were more likely to be called offensive names than women. Of all internet users, 89% of the U.S. population, 32% of men and 22% of women were called names. Men were also more likely to be physically threatened. Not everyone said they were hurt by online harassment. While 14% of the people found their most recent incident, quote-unquote, extremely upsetting, 22% said it's not all that upsetting. The rest of the people surveyed had reactions in between. The telephone and online survey was conducted between May 30th and June 30th among 3,217 respondents. It has a margin of error of plus or minus 2.2 percentage points. So, do we get harassed? Yes, we do get harassed. We do. It is. I mean, I don't know one person who has not been harassed online that I know of so far. Okay. So far. Okay. Could be more, could be less, but the people I know have been harassed. And what really, I think, to me, this is just me, but to me, people who put themselves out there, people who, lay it all out there, in other words, their personal information, need to understand one thing. You're going to get harassed. Now, when I say harassed, let's just umbrella that word. We're talking sexual, physical, emotional, academic. I mean, there's all sorts of harassment, but specifically there's two of them, two parts of that umbrella of harassment that takes place. One, sexual harassment, and then physical harassment. Meaning, somebody may post to you directly, I'm going to come find you and, whatever. You know what I mean? So how do we combat that? What is your reaction to that? How do you react to that? If somebody said you're a pain in a whatever, and they started harassing you online and you didn't know the person, I would just block them, report them and block them, go from there. I mean, it's usually that simple. But other people get so upset and so pissed off that, their loved ones or they themselves are going to seek them out and, do some very unmentionable things to them. But what is your reaction? We react very viscerally prior to knowing the whole story. A lot of people say, well, you got to look at the whole picture. Well, yeah, you got to look at the whole picture. The whole picture shows you that there are people out there who are, one, dumber than a box of rocks, two, emotionally unstable, and three, have no other way of expressing themselves except in a negative way. Those are the people that are out there. Now, how do you encourage those people? Those people are encouraged by you putting all of your information out there. I got a friend of mine who lives in Oregon, and when her and her husband go somewhere, it's like, well, we're leaving today, and we're going to go and whatever. And I'm like, if there's anybody on Facebook, somebody you don't know that sees you, they're going to try to find you, and they probably are going to within a reasonable amount of time, and they're going to find out where you live, and then when you post again, hey, we're leaving for a few days, they're going to come to your house and rip you off. Okay? That's just the way it is. Because you have some very unstable individuals out there. Mentally unstable, physically unstable, meaning the mental aspect of the person who says, I don't give a crap about anybody, I'm going to do whatever I want, they can, whatever. The mentally deranged people are going to be physically harassing you in a way that is going to... They're looking for you to be very upset so that you can come after them so that they can play the victim. I've studied psychology, folks. But it's a general overview of a mentally unstable individual. Okay? Usually we call them psychopaths. Okay? So this is what happens. So how do you react to that? Do you react and play into their hands, or do you react in such a very simple way? Like, basically, as I said before, if you're online, you can just block them or report them or whatever. Or, here's another thing, and I didn't even know this until just recently, in the last year or so. You can take all that information, copy it out, print it out, copy it out, screenshots, all this, print it out, go to your local police department, talk to somebody in the cyber bullying task force. You may have one in your local police department or sheriff's department. You give them that information and say, I want this person stopped. And just tell them, if I get anything more from them, I'm going to give it to you. Now, that's going to the extreme. That is going to the extreme. And I understand that. I understand that's going to the extreme. I understand that is like taking hours out of your day to go do that. But what's more important? Stopping these individuals? Or allowing it to continue so that they can harass somebody else? Because it's probably not just you they're harassing. So how are you going to react to that? That's something that you really have to understand. And because I've, done my research, and I'm not done yet, I've still got a lot more to go. It is to me, the easiest way, if you don't want to do all that, go to the police and all that, the easiest way to take care of a cyber bully or a cyber harassment against you or somebody in your family is to block them and report them. Now, of course, what's that going to do? Well, all they can do is just turn around with another name, come on, specifically Facebook, create another name, another persona, and come in and do the same thing. It's been done before. Okay? You hear it in the news from time to time that, somebody, some teenage girl at high school, well, it has happened. Some teenage girl at high school was harassed so badly online that the mother of the person doing the harassing created a Facebook page, some kid's name, created this persona, said she liked, this mother who created this male persona told this girl, I like you, I like all this, that, and the other thing, and then turned around and, started bashing her. And this girl went out and committed suicide. Okay? Because of it. So, yeah, do you want your family to be in that type of situation, or do you want to go to the police, go to the authorities and say, here's this, I want it stopped? And I know people who have done that. And I know guys, men who have daughters and sons who have gone to the police and literally told the police, if you don't do something about it, I'll take matters in my own hands. So, what's easier? And when a man steps up and takes care of his family and wants to protect his family, somebody's going to wind up in a body bag. Okay, that's just the way it is. It's normal. It's just the way it is. Okay? But how would you react? How would you react? Would you react in a very calm, pleasant way and just take all the information, screenshots and all of that and all this of what somebody else said and take it to police and just say, it's yours, go for it? And of course block them and report them? That's how I would do it. Not because I wouldn't do the other, it's just that I just want to keep it simple. That's just me. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't do the other. If it got too bad, I would just definitely go and, to the authorities and have them take care of it. But when we all get to the point where we're tired of being harassed or suppressed or oppressed or, treated like, second-class citizens or anything of that nature, we react in a very, very dramatic fashion. Okay? In terms of academically, in terms of what's the other one? Can't remember right offhand. But we react in such a way to where we're going to benefit from our proactive stance against certain things. We, the people, okay? Now, how do we react? Again, that's the main question. How do we react? You know? Now, let me go here. Keeping that question in mind, how do we react? Let me go here. You're at work. You're doing your work. And somebody comes up and says a few things to you. And, you know, like, I don't know. If you're a woman, a guy is going to say, hey, wow, you really look good today. Very, you know, nonchalant, very, hey, you know, just everyday talk. Somebody's going to do that, women. Some guy is going to do that to you. How do you react? Most of the women I know who have used logic and common sense usually look back at me and say, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's it, and it's dropped, and it's done. But here's the other thing. There are women out there who are, pardon my language, they are, well, I'm not going to use that word, but they're not so nice in the response. And the next thing you know, you're sitting in your boss's office trying to explain to him that it was just a comment. It's not like I want to, you know. No. Okay? And when you get into that type of situation, you have to understand, women, that it is just a comment. So for you to get all, you know, huffy and go to he's sexually harassing me, you have a mental problem. In other words, you don't have logic and common sense to just understand it was a guy saying, hey, you look great. You know, just, there you go. Okay? It is incredibly, I'm going to say this, it's incredibly stupid for anyone to take these things so personal to where they got to go tell somebody about it. You know what I'm saying? So there's your contrast between how do you react to harassment and how do you just go along with your day to get along with other people. And if somebody looks at me and says, hey, wow, you look like your father, or you know, hey, you look kind of nice in that suit, you know, what am I going to say? I know what I'm going to say. Thank you. I'm not going to sit there, oh my God, you're sexually harassing me. I got to go tell somebody. Ah! No. No. And women are notorious for getting all huffy and going and tell somebody about it. When all you got to do is go, thank you, appreciate it. And that's it. You're done. Hey. No, it doesn't happen that way. So stop with the bull crap. I've given you some ideas on how you can combat harassment online and in your offices and wherever you work. I've given you some ideas on what it truly is and that you shouldn't overreact. Just take the day as it comes. But if you can't do that, well, from my perspective, not my problem. Be right back after this. Local radio with a worldwide connection. The Free America Radio Network. Go to www.freeamericaradio.us.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 22nd of October, 2014. How are ya? You're doing good, I hope. I hope you're doing good. Hey, what's going on up in Canada? We got some shootings going on up there, at Parliament. News says that Stephen Harper's okay. He's been secure, as they say. It says right here, shooting in Canada. This is over at news.yahoo.com from Reuters. Randall Palmer and David Lundgren. Thank you, guys. Ottawa. A gunman shot and fatally wounded a soldier in Ottawa on Wednesday and then entered the country's parliament buildings chased by cops, with at least 30 shots fired in dramatic scenes in the heart of the Canadian capital. A suspected gunman was shot dead inside the Parliament building, a government minister said. Ottawa police were searching for more suspects near the National War Memorial in central Ottawa, where the soldier was shot, and on nearby Parliament Hill, a police spokesman said. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper was in a caucus meeting in Parliament when gunfire erupted in the building. Veterans Affairs Minister Julian Fantino, a former policeman, told the Toronto Sun. Harper was later safely removed from the building and Parliament was locked down. Fantino said Parliament's head of security, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers, a former member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, had shot a suspect dead. Quote, all the details are not in, but the Sergeant-at-Arms, a former Mountie, is the one that engaged the gunman, or one of them at least, and stopped this, unquote. Fantino said, quote, he did a great job, and from what I know, shot the gunman, and he is now deceased, unquote. Canadian Cabinet Minister Jason Kenney said the soldier who was shot at the War Memorial had died. He said a guard in Parliament buildings had been wounded. Quote, condolences to the family of the soldier killed and prayers to the parliamentary guard wounded. Canada will not be terrorized or intimidated, unquote. Kenney, one of Harper's most powerful ministers, said on Twitter. A spokeswoman from the Canadian military said she could not confirm that the soldier had died and had no update on his condition. Dramatic video footage posted by the Globe and Mail newspaper showed police with guns drawn inside the main Parliament building. At least a dozen loud bangs can be heard on the clip, echoing through the hallway. Danger here. As the drama unfolded, police in dark bulletproof vests and carrying automatic rifles flooded the streets near Parliament. Some took cover behind vehicles and shouted to people to clear the area, saying, we do not have the suspect in custody. You are in danger here. Police quickly cleared several blocks of downtown Ottawa. By noon Eastern, the streets were empty. Several police cars were parked on the lawns outside the Parliament building. Small groups of police could be seen sheltering behind at least two cars. Members of the Parliament were told to lock themselves in their offices and stay away from the windows. Quote, if your door does not lock, find a way to barricade the door if possible. Do not open a door under any circumstances, unquote, said a security alert issued by Parliament officials. At the time of the shooting, the opposition New Democrats were holding their weekly caucus meeting in Parliament's center block, where the shooting took place. A tweeted picture sent from the room showed a pile of chairs jammed against the main door to prevent anyone from entering. Police told people in downtown Ottawa to stay away from windows and off roofs. The soldier who was reported to have died in the shooting was taken into an ambulance in which medical personnel could be seen giving him cardiopulmonary resuscitation. CBC News reported that he was a reservist who had been serving in Hamilton, Ontario. There was no word yet on the identity of any suspect or suspects or of any motive for the shooting. The incident came just 2 days after an Islamic convert ran down 2 Canadian soldiers with his car, killing one near Montreal before being shot and killed by police. It also took place as the Canadian government prepared to boost the powers of its spy agency, the Canadian Security Intelligence Services. Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney said last Thursday the new legislation would let the agency track and investigate potential terrorists when they travel abroad and ultimately prosecute them. In Washington, a White House official said U.S. President Barack Obama had been briefed on the situation. He said the United States had offered assistance to Canada. Mass shootings are relatively rare in Canada, which has stricter gun laws than the United States. Compared with Capitol Hill in Washington, security on Parliament Hill is also fairly low-key. Anybody could walk right up to the door of Parliament's center block with arms and explosive without being challenged before entering the front door, where a few guards check accreditation. The Canadian military closed its bases across the country following the events in Ottawa, CBC TV had said. That is going up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. But, so seriously, how does this affect you? How do you react? What's the first thing that you think of? How do you react? What are your reactions to something of this magnitude? When you know that any government building, including the White House in Washington, D.C., has to be so secure that you can't get in there even to deliver Girl Scout cookies. My question is why are these buildings unprotected? My other question related to that is, why are the people, the citizens, not armed? Okay? There are states in the United States where school districts are now arming the teachers and the faculty. There are states here in the United States where it is illegal for you to even carry a gun. And some of the rules and regulations in weapons, when you possess a weapon for defense means, or defense purposes, you've got to have the gun in the jockey box and the bullets in the trunk. That's not going to help me when my car gets jacked. Okay? Every single state, and I'm going to say this, every single province in Canada needs to understand one very vital, important, very crucial element of human existence. We have a right to protect ourselves. And if that means that we have to protect ourselves not only from the criminals out on the streets, but from our own government, then that's exactly what we're going to do. Because as far as the United States is concerned, that's how our founding fathers set it up. Now, as I said before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it until somebody actually sends me some email telling me I'm right. Got any attorneys out there that want to do this? Hear this. Every single state in the United States, every single governor, every single legislator, every single person in government, including Washington, D.C., that proposes any type of gun control law is in direct violation of the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the United States for America. Okay? Period. Now, you attorneys out there better tell me why I'm wrong. You better look at the Constitution. You better look at that Bill of Rights, and you better tell me why you believe I am wrong. Well, every state is... No, I don't want to hear that. Because every state is a, let's just say, a franchise of Washington, D.C., which was incorporated, look through the Puerto Rican and other documentation to prove that, in 1871. Guess who owns the United States of America? Yes, I said owns. Guess who owns the United States? The Queen of England. And the Queen of England can walk right into that White House and tell Mr. Barack Obama, sit down, son. We're taking over. Well, she wouldn't do that. She'd be in her high voice. She can do that. So the bottom line is every single state, county, federal building needs ample protection. And if you cherish your state, and if you are a patriot and part of the state militia, don't you think it's your duty to protect your state capital? Well, the capital has, like here in Nevada, I live in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, and about 35 miles away is the state capital, Carson City. And guess what? And this is true probably in your state, at your state's capital. We have our own Capitol Police. Okay? They go through the same training as Washoe County Sheriffs, Reno, Carson City Police. They go through the same training, but they are earmarked for the state capital. Why? Because it's a city-state unto itself. Yes, you heard me right. It's a city-state unto itself, much like Washington, D.C. is in that 10-square-mile piece of land. Much like the City of London is within the capital of London in England. Much like the Vatican City is within Rome and at the Vatican. It's a city-state unto itself. So that would imply that the state's militia, the constitutional state militia, should be down at the state's capital protecting it. Should they not? Is this true? You attorneys out there better email me and set me straight on this if I'm wrong. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. I'm going to take a little break. It's going to be a little longer than usual, but that's okay, because I'll be back and I'll finish it up and give you some more to think about. All right? You can email me, by the way, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me. You can email me at freeamericaradio@USA.com, freeamericaradio@USA.com, and you can go to thewaynespearshow.weebly.com. I'll be back right after this.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the mainstream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for the 22nd of October, 2014. I'm glad you guys are sticking with me here. You guys are awesome. You rock. If you want to support the Free America Radio Network, you can go to freeamericaradio.us. That's the main Free America Radio Network page, freeamericaradio.us. You can donate through PayPal or Bitcoin. You can also sponsor the show if you like. That would be great if you could on a monthly basis. Yes, it's not going to break your advertising budget, and that's the way I like it. So, and as well, there's other things you can do, like purchase your emergency food supply. Get as much as you can. Protect your family today with additional resources, emergency food supplies. They're always good to have. They're good for your family, and protecting yourself is a vital thing to do for you and your family. You'll be helping out your family and helping out Free America Radio Network share the truth one fact at a time. So your support is very much appreciated. So do what you can. Thank you. Appreciate that. A lot of things going on. Last segment's pretty simple. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it straight. I'm going to just keep it true to form when it comes to the truth. It's really, really simple. When you and I see something, or you and your friends, or whatever, when you and I see something, and we see, let's just use this as a metaphor, a blue Oldsmobile. We see it. There it is. It's in front of us. Nice blue Oldsmobile. Why are you looking at something different? I never could understand that, and that's fine, because I know what I see and I know what I know. No one can tell me that's not what it is. This is why I say that the state-run media is spreading the propaganda to elicit fear and to install fear within each and every single one of us. I see right through it. I've seen right through it for well over 30 years. Nobody is going to tell me that the mainstream media is telling the truth. None of them are. All the alphabet soup, networks are not telling you the truth. None of them are. I don't care if it's your local affiliates. They're not telling you the truth. Well, they got to be telling you something or else it wouldn't get on air. It's called honeypot. Go look that up. Honeypotting. There's a phrase. Go look. Phrase. Honeypot. Go check it out. They give you so much to draw you in, and then they spin it to where they confuse you, and because of that confusion, you're sitting there going, but they're telling the truth. They said it before, and why would they lie now? They told the truth before. Why are they lying now? Because that's what they do. Oh, don't get me wrong. The independent and alternative medias have their folks that do the same thing, such as the NPRs and all of that. The MSNBCs on TV, all of that. RT, same thing. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad. Yeah, they do have the truth, but you have to pick it out. You got to go, oh, wait a minute. Yesterday they reported on this. I checked it out. It was the truth. Now today they're saying something different. What? It's real simple, folks. Take from it what you know is true, that you can literally prove to yourself is true, and throw all the rest away. That's why I say, go to startpage.com, go search these things out, go look at the National Defense Authorization Act that President Obama signed December 31st, 2011. Go look at all these unconstitutional executive orders that he's, committed to, signed into law, whatever you want to call it. You're going to find I'm right. I don't want to hear anybody tell me, oh, you're one of those conspiracy theory right-wing nut jobs. Really? And you want to listen to this moron in the White House? How about packing your crap and leaving the country? Obviously, North Korea, China, or Russia would love your citizenship. Bye. I'll help you pack. Okay? You just don't want anybody to disagree with you. Oh, you want everybody to go away and shut up. No, I don't. I want people to disagree because I don't always agree with everybody, but at least I have information that I can use to back up why I disagree with people. No one else does. No one else will. No one else has the balls to stand up and say, wait a minute, this is why I disagree with you. Nobody does. I have lost friends and acquaintances because I proved myself correct and showed them why I disagree with them. And they went, F you, and walked away. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it anymore. I know how people are. I know how they're going to react. Now, some might have the question that the reason, or I should say, the way that I react to people, to tell them, hey, I'll help you pack, you leave the country, and all that, if you stand on this current regime's policies and support Barack Obama, you can pack your bags and leave now. People who say that I say that, they say that I'm reacting in the same way that other people would react to what's going on, right? In other words, tit for tat. In other words, I've had people tell me I was a hypocrite because I'm telling people they can pack their bags, but other people are telling me I can pack my bags if I'm so conservative or whatever that, so there's that. You see how that argument will get everybody confused. Even trying to explain it confuses me. So think of it this way. Think of it this way. If you and your friend disagree on something, does that mean that either one of you are right? It's a good question, isn't it? Just because you and your friend disagree on something, does that mean that either one of you are right? No, it doesn't. Prove yourself right. In other words, if you think that whatever it is you think, you need to investigate. You don't need to ask anybody else. You don't need to spout off things that you know nothing about. You need to go investigate it and research it. Then, when the opportune time comes and the subject is raised again, you can say, hey, I checked it out, and here's what I believe, and here's what I've seen so far. Then you can do that and have a very decent, calm, rational discussion instead of going off the handle and screaming and yelling and jumping up and down and acting like a damn fool. Got to know what you're talking about. See, I've been researching shadow government since I was in high school over 30 years ago, and I can tell you right now, we are run by a shadow government, period. the puzzle pieces were put together many years ago by me, for me to realize and prove to myself that this is not the United States of America our founding fathers wanted, period. Regardless of whether or not you think I sound like some right-wing nut job, you need to realize that I'm right. And if you question anything that I say, I've already told you, go check it out. By the way, before I had the internet, I went to this big old building in my hometown of Stockton, California called the San Joaquin County Library, and I went and checked this stuff out. Guess what? I can verify everything. Oops, did I say everything? I'm sorry. I can verify most of the things that I talk about. You see how I reacted there? I can't verify everything, but about 75 to 80% of the stuff that I talk about, I've got stuff to back it up with. So, do you? Probably not. Okay. That's all right by me. That's fine. But you're still going to point fingers at me and tell me I'm wrong and I'm some conservative right-wing conspiracy theory nut job, aren't you? You are totally wrong, but you're going to say it anyway. Anyway, I didn't want to get off on that rant about me and about how people, confront me with certain... I didn't want to get off on that. But that's just something to remember. I like to, I like to talk about that every so often and, restate my concerns, if you will, about people's reaction to the things that I say. But what I wanted to end the show with in this last segment was basically that we are who we are. We see things differently. I understand that. Okay? And when you look at the news, how do we react? When you look at the mainstream media, how do we react to the things that are out there? When we hear from alternative independent media, how do we react? I'm putting the focus back on you right now. How do you react to certain things around you? What is your reaction? Do you just grab a beer, sit in your easy chair, and watch ESPN like most people do, or watch their stupid reality shows? Or do you actually get up and get proactive and try to change things locally, throughout your neighborhood or throughout your city or throughout your county? What do? Well, I'm here giving you the news, giving you my opinion of it, showing you what's behind the curtain and who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. And I'm helping you make that decision for yourself as to how you're going to react. But then again, I'm not here to twist your arm to tell you what to do, how to do it, why to do it, or whatever else. I'm here to hopefully encouraging you to check this stuff out and to be proactive in your life to combat the tyranny that is currently in this country, probably in your city under Agenda 21 sustainable development. You need to combat that. You need to get rid of that. You need to fire all of your city council members and say, hey, we're getting rid of everybody who voted for this. Midterms are coming up. That might help. But anyway, a lot of things going on. A lot of things are said. A lot of things are done. A lot of things to come. Free America Radio Network is going to the next level, and I need your help. So if you want to donate, if you can, you can donate through PayPal or Bitcoin, or advertise on the Free America Radio Network, or specifically this show, the Wayne S. Pierce Show on the Free America Radio Network. Or you can get your emergency food supply right there at freeamericaradio.us. There's a couple places to go, and there you go. I hope I encouraged you today. I hope I enlightened you. In the meantime, come join me on the Views Expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. Listen to it on Spreaker.com or on freeamericaradio.us. Have a great Wednesday, folks. Talk to you later.